Hello everyone and welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Before we get into the main brunt of the video, I wanted to just say that today, this afternoon into this evening, there is potential for some thunderstorms or rumbles of thunder or thundery activity in some places. So I just wanted to show this very quickly. As you can see on this map, this is the live radar at 3 o'clock when I'm recording this. There is a line of sort of heavy and maybe convective showers developing over the border of Wales and Western England into the Midlands, and this is going to progress eastwards. Now this could actually bring a few rumbles of thunder in places. This is going to move further eastwards going into this evening. Also, the potential is there for a few isolated thunderstorms or rumbles of thunder again in this southeastern corner as this front clears away. And there is a slight amount of cape around, which is energy for a thunderstorm. There is a slight amount around, so into the later hours of this evening, so around 6-7 o'clock, there even could be a few isolated storms in the southeastern corner near the London area. But anyway, on with the video. Right then everyone, so welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and we're going to be looking today at our regular forecast for the next couple of weeks, which will take us into the first week of March. Snapshot at the end. Now, could we be looking at the potential for a heat wave? No, ignore those titles. There is no chance of heat wave, in my opinion. Temperatures could reach 20 degrees in the London and the southeast area in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not expecting anything too ridiculous, no 30 degrees or anything. But anyway, we'll run through the main models and see what they are showing. So we're going to start with the GFS, and as always, if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. YouTube, stop messing with my likes, leave a like down below. I really do appreciate your continued support. And if you do want to join the Discord server where we chat with people, you can chat to me if you want to, not that you would, but you can do if you want to. The link's in the description down below. So as we know, it's quite wet at the moment in places. Well, for me, it's raining. I haven't had much rain recently, but I've had like 8 millimeters today, so it's better than zero the last couple of weeks. But as you can see, this is the GFS midnight run. We usually just show the 6Z, but we're going to show both runs today. So we've got high pressure building out in the Atlantic over the next couple of days. A trough is going to get stuck over the top of the country, bringing some wet weather into the west. That's going to slip southwards. Eventually the high pressure builds over and just to the north of the country, bringing in the wind from a southerly or southwesterly wind. Not ridiculously mild, but it is going to get lift temperatures back up again. Into Friday, pretty dry day. Into Saturday and Sunday, we're actually bringing up a long fetch southerly or southwesterly wind, dragging in the 5 degree ice firm, so pretty nice, pretty pleasant. And if we have a look at the 2 metre temperatures, you can see they are reaching 18, possibly 19 degrees in that east and southeastern corner into the early part of next week. That southwesterly continues, but then with the GFS midnight run, it builds high pressure out to the west and does begin to pull down a colder northerly. Now, this is not well supported at all, but I wanted to show you this because it shows two possible outcomes. So if this high pressure extends up towards Greenland and we do pull down a cooler or colder northerly or northwesterly wind, but it doesn't last long, and the -5 line does get into Scotland, which would bring the risk of some does bring the risk of some wintry showers into the far north. But as you'll see in a minute, the 6Z does not agree at all with this run. Eventually the high pressure does topple back over the top of the country. It looks quite dry at the very least. Before, towards the very end of the run, into the first week of May, we do turn more unsettled, particularly in the north. And it's not ridiculously mild either, it's around average to slightly below average. That was the midnight run, so not too bad. High pressure dominating, and it may even reach 20 degrees, possibly in that south or southeastern corner. They can see through those days, could reach that next week. But then if we have a look at the 6Z run, it's the complete opposite. You've just seen a screenshot again, high pressure building over the top of the country and just to the west into the latter part of this week. That's going to settle to our north, bringing in the wind from a southerly direction I should say. Then we get that long fetch southerly or southeasterly wind from Spain. That's going to bring mild temperatures back in again. The 10 degree ice firm getting into the far south before it gets cleared away by chillier or cooler air masses. Again, temperatures could reach 18, 19 or even 20 degrees in the London area to start next week. After that, it does turn slightly more unsettled. Low pressure tries to rattle in from off the Atlantic, but the high pressure to our south is remaining quite dominant. Deep area of low just going to the north, a complete contrast, and it's mild. So mild compared to cool or even cold. So definitely a big contrast. Now I can tell you which option's more likely to happen: the southerly or southwesterly wind. Then eventually it does turn more unsettled again. A lot of high pressures building to our east towards Iberia. That's just going to keep bringing in the wind from a southerly or southwesterly direction. It does look like a mild start to May with that run. It does support that forecast we made before. I do think there will be a cooler interlude actually to start May, though. I do think it will turn slightly cooler, but it won't last that long, to be honest. This looks quite southerly or southwesterly based. That would take a lot to shift as well. Low pressure is going to just be shoved to our west towards Greenland. We're just going to keep bringing up a southerly wind, so it looks very nice. 10-degree ice firm into France as well at the very end. Let's have a look at the GEM then next. This is the run which has been interesting some people. I'll just say that. If we have a look then, again, high pressure builds out to our west and the northwest, bringing in the southerly, southwesterly wind. To the early part of next week, looks quite mild with that southerly wind dragging in. See those 10-degree ice firms surging northwards, and then we look at the 2-metre temperatures. 26 to 27, you know, not too bad. And the next day, 28 to 30 on Wednesday next week. Now, I do doubt this will happen because there's a few runs, but there's not many supporting the idea of the 10-degree ice firm surging northwards. A lot of them get the 5-degree ice firm in, then the 10-degree ice firm potentially into the far south and southeast, but not for the whole country, really. I think the GM is overdoing it, as it normally does. And then it's surging that 10-degree ice firm back northwards again. So even midnight on Thursday, temperatures are still 16 and 17 degrees in the southwest, so pretty ridiculous. But it does look to turn drier again. High pressure looks to dominate. Maybe slightly more unsettled in the north is a definite theme here. If we have a look at the ECM WF finally and the midnight run, and got 12 interludes, you can see again high pressure builds up to our north and west. Winds are in from the south or southwest. High pressure remains in control. With this, though, just builds more heights to our north, bringing in the wind from more of an east or southeasterly, and that could also bring in the 10-degree ice firm, but only again into that far south corner. If we look at the temperatures, they are reaching 18, 19 or 20 degrees, but nothing like the GM was reaching. It was a bit ridiculous. 20 degrees, quite widely actually, quite nice. 21 for you, James, in Scotland. You'd probably enjoy that, wouldn't you, eh? After you've had some snow. Winds remain from the east, and then eventually it does turn cooler. High pressure ridges out in the Atlantic, and we do turn into a cooler or possibly colder northerly. Yeah, just a cooler snap. Before high pressure then ridges back in through the country. It does look quite settled, quite dry, I would say, with this quite dry. High pressure basically remains in control for the whole of the run. So we'll have to just see how things play out. So that's that one. So if we have a look at the ensembles for the GFS, you can see that we are looking above average pretty much for the whole run. Some of you probably enjoy that. Precipitation looks a little bit unsettled for the time being, especially in central southern Britain, but it does look to turn drier. There aren't that many precipitation spikes, even in the longer term. So with the temperatures, we are slightly below average at the moment, remaining slightly below average, but not much deviation. And then we are often running into a milder pattern. You can see some of the runs, even for Barnsley, where I am, in South Yorkshire, are bringing in the 10-degree ice firm, but they are in the minority. Most runs are around 5 degrees ice firm, which would bring temperatures maybe into the mid-teens to low 20s. If we have a look at the 2-metre temperatures from the runs, if we go there, you can see that the trend is up, and then it's back to old average again. Some of the runs are reaching 20 degrees, but there's not many. And then in the longer term, there are a few gathering pace, but it's a long way off. It's an uncertain theme into the longer term. There are a few colder runs, I will say, but they are in the minority in the longer term, and I wouldn't trust any of them at all, because, let's be honest, a cold northerly is unlikely to happen, or a cool northerly is unlikely to happen. Got to be careful with my wording because of the time of the year. Cold northerly is unlikely to happen, but probably warm southerlies are more likely to happen than that. Let's be honest, with how the winter went, no one can trust them. No one can trust that these days. If we have a look at the ECMWF temperatures for the midnight run, you can see it's basically above average. There are a couple of 10-degree ice firm runs gathering pace, such as the ECM run, but again, they weren't ridiculously 30-degree hot or anything like that. There's a bit of a split in the longer term, but again, it's a long way off, so uncertain. Not really worth looking at. If we have a look finally at the CFS, I like looking at these. These are the CFS month by month charts. So this is for April. If we have a look at May, we can see this actually looks pretty bad. High pressure centred towards Greenland and Iceland. If this came off, looks quite bad. May. Low pressures to the south, that's bringing wet weather into the south, and probably a bit cooler weather into the north. Maybe even the risk of some wintry showers over the northern mountains, but mostly unsettled and wet. But June looks pretty good again, but low pressures towards Spain, high pressures to our east, bringing in the wind from a southerly or southeasterly. That looks volatile and quite thundery. So you take what you can, really, don't you? July, high pressures again centred to the east. That looks much drier. Low pressures just to the south of Greenland. The winds are in from a southerly direction. August looks very nice, actually. High pressures just over into the north of the country. Winds are in from the east. August looks the best month. June looks pretty good as well. Could be quite hot with winds up from the south or south east. So it looks pretty nice there. But let's just see how it all develops. Thought I'd bet in a little bit of fun. Thank you all for tuning in to today's video, and thanks for the support on the last one, by the way. I really do appreciate your continued support. Consider joining the Discord down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.